Hello everybody, it's the FarmSim guy here. Hope you're all doing well. We're back on Peace River, and we are back today. It is still spring, mid-spring. Temperatures dropped quite a lot from the first episode. I'm just going to jump in the truck here, and we're going to head over to field 7, and we're going to have a look at where we were at. If you remember, we had the 4 versatiles in there, working that land. Well, they have finished. They ran late into the night last night to get that done, because we're really keen to start planting now. It is actually on the cusp of being good enough for planting, temperature-wise. It's a little on the cold side, but we're going to give it a go. Hopefully there's not too much moisture in the ground, but we will certainly give it a go. The other thing we're going to be running today is Proceed. So with the bull colts, we're going to put some tram lines in, so we can run the John Deere 4940 sprayers later in the year when we've got potentially some weeds coming up in there. So for now, here we are. We're going to head across the road to field 16, which had corn in it last time. Now I did a little bit of research this week to make sure we're keeping this as authentic as possible. The main crops grown in British Columbia, or this part of British Columbia, are 29% canola, 23% wheat, 20% barley and 25% oats, and about 3% worth of peas. So no corn up here, so I won't be planting corn at all. I'm just going to stick with canola, wheat, barley and oats. So we're going to get this cultivated under. We're going to get all 4 versatiles in here, because this is in fact almost as big a field as field 7. I say that, let me jump to the map here, let's have a look. I mean, in reality it's about half the size. But it's still a colossal field, so I think we can run all 4 vehicles up here. The other option I did consider was popping 2 into field 17 and 2 in field 16. But I think for speed we're going to try and get this finished, because I'd like to plant that field next as well. So we'll drop these in. We'll do a 4-way courseplay course again on them. So another mod that we're running in this episode is Thunder's Rocky Fields mod. If you watch my Bulls Gap series on Sunday, we were running it there. It's a very cool mod. I'm slightly nervous that it might churn out a considerable amount of rocks in such a big field as this, but we shall give it a go. Why not? We'll have to think of a way of picking them up as well, but that shouldn't be too difficult. So what we'll do, we'll get the courseplay fired up in here, and then we will go and get the seeders ready for across the road there in field 7. So there we go, setting up our courseplay course. If you look at this with with multiple tools set at 4, it actually doesn't look that onerous, does it? So that looks pretty good. We'll go and get the other tractors and we'll get this started. But I would expect that to not take too much time, hopefully. So let's get this started, and we will get things going with the other tractors. So this would be 2 left, so he'll stay as 2 left. That's good. We probably, do we want it on vehicle convoy? So everything's saved as it was before, so we're actually looking quite good there. So let's drive this from first waypoint, which is exactly where he is now. He'll just drop into the ground there and off he goes. Now I did get a comment after my last video from Joshua Dahl. Thank you, Joshua, for watching the vid, who did say actually up in Canada they don't tend to do a lot of tillage. The reason being that actually the stubble left is a little bit of a protector against frost and snow during the winter months. So I thought that was quite interesting. The only reason I'm doing tillage on that field is to get rid of the corn texture underneath, to be honest. But I think I'll take Joshua at his word for future episodes, and we'll maybe avoid too much tillage. But I don't want to punish ourselves either. At the end of the day, it is a game, and the problem is you can limit yourself. I have got ploughing turned off to avoid any loss of yield through not ploughing, which I think is important. But we will just we'll see how it goes. But I like that. That was an interesting fact that I didn't know about Canadian farming. So you learn something new every day, don't you? Okay, that's the second tractor up and running. I did want to give a shout out actually to Joe V as well, who made a brilliant suggestion that we could look at adding a little other element to the challenge, perhaps fulfilling some rather substantial grain contracts for the government in terms of just adding a dimension to the gameplay. You know, we are on this map playing with some big machinery. Money's kind of no object in terms of buying the stuff that we need to buy to farm the land. So let's add a different element in it. We've got to make sure that we create enough grain or we'll get penalties in terms of contracts. So we'll give that a bash. But a really nice idea. Thank you for that, Joe. Much appreciated. Okay, 2 more tractors to go. Let's get those set up and we will start to go and think about what we're going to do with the seeders. Okay, last 2 are the tracked boys. We'll pick these up, run these over the road. Repair levels are looking quite good on these, and the pace that they're running at as well, 9 miles an hour, means that we're making quite fast progress. So we'll run him into here. We'll get him set up. The course is already loaded now. I've got to remember to remove the last course from courseplay so that we don't get a dual course problem. So let's ditch that. Let's load in field 16 cultivate times 4, which is our new course. We will set this guy, he will be 1 right, he's already that. And just check that the vehicle convoy is activated as well. Although they're so far apart this one, we're pretty good. First waypoint. And we are going to hit drive course. A little bit of a delay just because the field's so big really. We've got a few weeds in there already. I'm comfortable playing with weeds on this series. Again, Seasons is a lot less, or a lot more forgiving on the weeds front than if you play in base game, where it absolutely floods your field with weeds. So from that perspective, we'll set things going now. Look at that. I'm just going to jump out as he heads off, because I see we've already unearthed a rock using Thunder's new Rocky Fields mod. And there it is. There's our first rock in the field, as you would expect in real life. They're small enough that you can pick them up, but at the same time, it's going to be interesting to see how many we uncover in this field. You can have a sell point or a drop point for the rocks, because I think when you've got too many in the field, it could potentially cause some lag. We'll find out. It's still a work in progress. It's still a beta mod, that. But if you do want to pick it up, you can get it from Thunder's Discord, and I will put a link to that in the description for the video as well. It's a very, very cool mod, and if we're running with some of these tractors at any point, I'll give you a little bit of a show about when the rocks come out. It is completely random, so I don't know how it will work on these colossal fields. Certainly when I was running it on Bull's Gap the other night, we got a healthy amount of rocks on a relatively small field, so I wonder if it will adjust for the size of the field. But here we go, last tractor. Let's get this in the field. That is one severely big headland we've got running there, so we shouldn't have any issues turning after this. It's a big expanse of space, isn't it? So again, let's get rid of the last course. Let's load in the new course. 2 right, so that was the same as the last time's tractor. Everything else is as was. We just need to switch it to first waypoint, and tractor 4 is ready. A little bit of a pause as it works itself out, but there it goes. The flex coil being unfolded, sorry, and ready to go. Now what we'll do when we're planting, I think we'll stick a rock box on front of the tractor that we're running with the seeders, sorry, not the planters, and they can be responsible for picking up the rocks. But there we go. Cultivator 4 on the go. Okay, so there we go. They've started on the up and down rows there. We are the last tractor here, finishing off the headland. So as you can see, we nearly had a little incident with the other tractor, but there was enough of a distance between us that it didn't have an impact. So now once we've run down here, we will join the up and down rows as well. Hopefully we're not going to have any issues with collisions. They are all on convoy, so they should stop and wait if they get too close to one of the other tractors. But we're making progress. We are moving pretty quickly here. So while these guys are busy working away, we're going to go and get the seeders set up. Okay, here we are back in the yard. I have pulled out the Bogo seeder. That's ready to go. This is massive. This is about 35 meter seeder. I'll quickly show you what else we've treated ourselves to as well, and the reason why I'm going to run Pro Seed today. I've got a couple of John Deere 4940 sprayers, 36 meters width, and we've got the Wilson step deck here, all full with liquid fertilizer for later on, and this beautiful Mac from the guys at Expendable Moddings. Right, we're going to go over here because we need to get these air carts filled up, and of course we've got an appropriate tractor for the job, and that is the John Deere 9RX with new sounds. Like that startup. It's good, isn't it? Right. Let's get one of the air carts and let's get it out and get it filled. We did close these doors, didn't we? Look, I've got rock boxes on the front as well for picking up rocks. I'm not sure they're going to pick up the quantity of rocks that are in that field, but we'll give it a go. I mean, this is a truly massive setup. But I love these tractors, and this air cart actually is really, really nice. It's not one I've used a lot before. I've tinkered with it a few times, but never really used it in anger, so I'm looking forward to it. Of course, we've got the Canadian flag on the John Deere as well. So, what are we looking at here? Right, the first one is seed, the second one fertilizer. So, let's unfold the auger pipe. Don't know which bay is which for the air cart, but we'll try and line this up appropriately over the bins. See how well we do. There we go, perfect. Okay, seed done. We will switch to the fertilizer pipe and see if we can hit this as well the first time. Looking good, hopefully. There we go, fertilizer. So we'll get that filled up as well, and then we'll get these hooked up and into the field. Now, like I said before, we're going to run Pro Seed with these because we're going to put tram lines in our field. But what that means is a little bit of setup, and it's something I haven't used a lot before. It's a very cool mod, just one of those ones that sat there, and I've appreciated it for what it is, but never really used it in anger, and certainly never used it on something as big as this. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But we'll get this hooked up. I'd like to do the headland with this one, and then move them onto the up and down rows. We'll do the headland manually, I think, because we only need one loop around, and then we will run the up and down rows. Okay, just about all hooked up here. There we go, hooked up. You can see the Pro Seed menu there. It's a 30.5 meter width on this drill. The John Deere's in there are 36 meter. I could have run smaller drills to do this, but to be honest, that would have been a little bit more time consuming. Now what I could have done is run, I don't know, three 12 meter drills, which would have given us the same solution, but with a slightly wider tram line. But actually, with sprayer section control on the 4940s, I'm kind of comfortable. There's a little bit of an overlap. It means we can make sure that we get things perfect. We don't miss any crop. So there you go. That's a wild course with skip rows. We've got 3 skip rows on, so we can make the turns nice and easy. 2 headland passes. That'll bring us 60 meters into the field as well, so enough space to turn hopefully at the ends without too much hassle. let's go. Let's see what happens, shall we? It's going to take a long time. I think we'll calculate the course. No, actually, that's not bad. 2 hours and 40 minutes. I thought it would be a lot more than that. So, looking good. But as you can see, tram lines in the middle there. I think we do get a row of seed in the middle there, but we'll only really see how authentic this is once we've got a little bit of growth in the field. So we will leave this guy to it for a little bit. We'll wait for the cultivators to finish in the other field. You can hear the clink of rocks even from here. I'm slightly nervous about how many rocks are going to be in that field, but we'll let this guy run, and we will be back shortly. There we go, our first cultivator has finished already. That did not take much time at all. So what we'll do, we'll get him turned off and we'll wait for the others. I think we'll run all of these back to the yard in one go, although we're pretty close. We're over there. Now let's run him back now, because what we'll do, we'll run him back and then we will get the second seeder sorted and we can get it into here. And then we're starting to make some very good progress. Just as we cross the field here as well, let me just jump into the seasons menu and show you. There is where we are, second month of the year. It's spring, so early plant of wheat and barley here. And then again we've got another option a little bit later on in the year. So yeah, lots of opportunities here. As long as the temperatures behave. Like I said, 43 degrees Fahrenheit here, and it is between 41 and 43 at the moment. It's pretty close to being a little bit too cold, but we'll see how we go. Needs must. So we'll run this back to the yard, and there you go. We've got a second one finished as well now. So we'll get all these rounded up back to the yard. As you can see, they are incredibly dirty. So we need to get them cleaned up and tucked back in the shed. Second one finished now. You can see the third one is just waiting politely there for us to just roll forward a little bit further so they can finish their row. So we'll turn off courseplay now and let them. So we'll just roll forward, and as you can see, that is what Convoy does for you. It waits. So you'll see another trigger here as they finish. If I just get out of the way. There we go, we'll get that alert now for that tractor. There we go. And the fourth tractor's going to wait a little bit as well. So what we'll do, we'll get all these joined together, do a little bit of follow me. So we don't have to run them all back to the yard individually. And we will get these back to the yard cleaned up. As you can see, the rocks in the field, there's quite a few rocks here. We need to be mindful of that when we come around with the planter. So let's just roll him around to behind the other tractor now. And turn on follow me. There we go. We'll get lined up behind, and then when we head back to the yard, these three will follow each other in a little procession. Okay, last tractor brought out here. We've, as you can see, the other three have been beautifully washed, cleaned up, and the flexicores lined up here. We're not going to put them in a shed. Those will just, I mean, they take up so much space. They can sit out there quite comfortably with not much hassle. We'll drop the versatiles in the sheds. Now, I understand that we haven't finished all our cultivating yet, but we are going to focus on a little bit of seeding for the next day or so, and we will come back and we will sort the other fields that we need to do. We've got 17 and 18 up there that we still need to plant, as well as 45 down here. Now 15, 3 and 10, I'm not going to touch them at this time of year. Not much I need to do with those. We will come back to them in the future. As you can see, the 9RX is working on his second headland there, which is great. There's the 9RX doing its thing in the field, looking good, moving at a decent pace, 11 miles an hour. That's fast for that planter, isn't it? What you'll see here also is that in the bottom corner there, we are missing some precision farming data. And the reason for that, if I jump to here, we are still waiting for our samples to come back. And the reason for that, 8,919 samples. That takes a while to do. So in fact, we are, for field 7 alone, we've paid £250,000 for soil samples. It's a lot. So we need to make sure that we top that up. I've just spotted as well that we're getting charged for seed here, so I'll need to turn that off as well. But yes, it's an expensive business, as farming, isn't it? Okay folks, so the 9RX is working nicely over there in field 7. We're going to leave him to it. Now, before we can do any planting in this next field, and actually it's not a bad thing that I can't do any planting, because our samples haven't come back from the lab yet. So from that perspective, it gives us a little bit of time to pick up the rocks from inside this field. What we do, we've right by a rock here now. I want to press right shift and L, and that starts to load the rocks into the trailer. So, with that in mind, we could send this tractor on a little course around the field, picking up all of these things. Okay, we've set ourselves up with a little courseplay course here, and this tractor's just going to lap the field, picking up rocks as he goes. We've put it on quite a narrow track so that he won't miss any, and we'll let him run for a little bit. There are a few, but there aren't so many that it makes it unrealistic. So again, Rocky Fields by Thunder is a fantastic mod. Fantastic. So back with the 9RX, he's running brilliantly here too. He's got approximately 2 hours left to run in this field, so that's great. And we will leave it there, I think, for this episode. Like I said, it's really hard to get that much done because the fields are so big. I suppose we are getting stuff done in terms of we're covering a lot of ground, but in terms of variety, we seem to be focused on a few small things like seeding or cultivating. Hopefully that'll get a little bit more interesting during harvest, but I'm enjoying the automation side of things. Rocky Fields was a bit of fun as well, so I had some fun with that. I can't see us using that full time. It's just an extra layer of things we have to worry about, but I did enjoy using that and showing that to you. And nice to be using some Pro Seed as well. It's going to be interesting to see what these tramlines look like when they come out, and when we go spraying later on with it. So from me for now, I hope you've enjoyed Peace River episode 2. I'm sure we'll keep doing this for a little bit longer. Again, love to hear your suggestions about how I'm playing this, what you'd like to see, how we can change things up a little bit. But for now, from me, the FarmSim guy, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye for now.